Bears Ears National Monument has some incredible backcountry experiences where adventurous visitors can experience world-class recreation and wonderful cultural resources. However, Bears Ears also provides some spectacular front country opportunities, which is where a large portion of the monument's visitors should and will spend their time. Front country means that the sites are easily accessible with vehicles. There's going to be some forms of amenities like toilets, and there will generally be more encounters with other visitors as well. So some examples of sites that fit this mold are sites like this at Sand Island. Although not in the monument specifically, this is an area with high potential to capture visitors in an effort to provide some education and some interpretation as they venture out to the rest of Bears Ears National Monument. And some other places that we'll visit today are the Butler Wash Developed Site and the Mule Canyon Roadside Site. But we would like to discuss further what some other potential sites might be and what they might look like as we try to improve management of the visitors coming to Bears Ears National Monument.
So we're currently standing at the trailhead for the Butler Wash Developed Site. This site is near the head of Butler Wash, which is the long wash that follows Comb Ridge on the east side, north-south. This site is just north of Highway 95. You might even be able to hear it in the background. And actually, the site was excavated and partially stabilized as an off-site mitigation related to the construction of Highway 95. There's a short hike here. It goes mostly through this slight pinyon juniper forest, and then it goes up onto the slick rock. This site already has a large parking lot. It has a bathroom. It has some interpretation signs. It has a register box. We think this is a good place to do a little bit more interpretation, capture people's interest when they come into the monument, tell them a little bit more about the opportunities that they have here, and maybe most importantly, to interact with them a little bit about how to best visit archaeological sites and cultural sites within Bears Ears National Monument to make sure that we are minimizing any damage that they might do. Visit with respect, visit with responsibly while they're out here.
So here we are at the Mule Canyon Developed Site. This site was originally excavated and restored in the late 1970s. This is like a late Pueblo II period site. There's a kiva here, there's a room block here, and there's also a tower here, and there's some kind of neat features where some of the rooms are connected to the kiva and the tower is connected to the kiva via a tunnel. So kind of neat opportunities for interpretation here. It's a really well stabilized and restored site to talk a lot about how people would have lived during the ancestral Puebloan period. So mainly kind of want to update interpretation here and talk about what the tribes want to talk about here. It also is a nice focal area and kind of entry point into Bears Ears National Monument. There's an old map sign back there that still has the old Highway 666 and the Blue Mountain ski area, places like that that don't even exist anymore. So it's in need of interpretation since the 1980s. So this is something we'd really like to do at this site. We have a couple of partnerships that might help us with that. We have a nonprofit called SciArc that's going to help us do some digital documentation of the site, doing LiDAR and photogrammetry of the structures on the site that could lead to possibly some online interpretation and kind of increase our presence of Bears Ears National Monument, and particularly this site online a little bit, talk to people about the importance of this area to the tribes. So that would be really helpful. We also want to just improve the interpretation here. You know, we've talked about the options of maybe even getting rid of this kiosk itself and kind of putting more interpretive signs at the different archaeological features on the site. So one other thing with this site is there's a paved parking lot here from the 1970s, and there's a bathroom here. There's also paved walkways. It's generally ADA accessible here, and something we would like to improve on at the site is just the accessibility of this site. Some of that is that digital documentation that we were talking about, but also just making this site really easily accessible as a front country site here on the Trail of the Ancients recreation management zone. So this is a focal area and another major front country site with pretty serious development, and we want to keep the interpretation here and have this as kind of a welcoming area to Bears Ears National Monument.